The slap sent her ring flying. For Billionaires left. The man in the corner put down his drink. And everyone in that room was about to learn why Dante Valentino's wife is the most dangerous woman in New York. Like this video right now, what happens next will be the most satisfying thing you see all year. 8 seconds earlier. Get on your knees and pick it up. Naomi Richardson stared at the $100 bill on the marble floor. Then at Marcus Wellesley, tech billionaire, for $0.2 billion net worth, smirking like she was a dog doing tricks. I asked for my paycheck, Naomi said quietly. 12 weeks. You owe me 12 weeks. And I'm offering you $100. Marcus shot back. On your knees, or walk out with nothing. The other 3 billionaires, Trevor, Jonathan, Dean, they were loving this. Entertainment. That's all she was. Naomi's hand went to her wedding ring, spinning it once, twice, a habit her husband knew well. The husband sitting 15 feet away in the corner booth. Watching, waiting, deciding. Dante Valentino had been in the VIP room for 20 minutes. Black suit, darker reputation. The kind of man politicians feared and billionaires paid tribute to. He'd come to meet someone, handle business. But then she'd walked in. His Naomi, his wife of 6 months who'd insisted on keeping her independence. I need to work, she'd said. I need to feel like me. He'd agreed. But he'd also made sure someone always watched her. Tonight, that someone was him. You people always think you deserve something, Trevor Hastings said, standing up. You people. Dante's jaw clenched. His second-in-command Rico saw it. That look. The one that came before earthquakes. Boss, Rico whispered. Dante raised one finger. Wait, because he knew his wife. And she hadn't broken yet. Naomi bent down. Marcus grinned. Victory. But Naomi didn't kneel. She picked up the bill with her hand. Stood tall. Placed it back on the table. I don't need your charity. I earned 12 weeks of wages. That's not a favor. That's the law. For the first time, Marcus looked uncertain. You've got balls, Trevor laughed. Coming in here making demands. You're a maid. You clean our toilets. Know your place. I know my place, Naomi said, and something in her voice turned to steel. I'm a woman who works hard and expects basic human decency. If that confuses you, that's your failure, not mine. Jonathan Price's face went red. You're fired. Security's removing you in 60 seconds. Dean Ashford pulled out his phone. My family owns half this city. You'll never work in Manhattan again. We'll bury you. And that's when Naomi said the 7 words that changed everything. Your family name doesn't make you a man. Silence. Naomi continued, voice calm. It just makes you a spoiled child playing with daddy's money. A real man earns respect. You buy it. And the second your money's gone, so is everything else. Dean's face twisted. Pure rage. The slap came fast. Crack. His palm connected with her face. Her head snapped sideways. The diamond wedding ring. Princess cut. Flawless. Placed on her finger 6 months ago by the deadliest man in New York. Flew through the air. It hit the marble with a sound like breaking glass. Time stopped. Naomi's hand went to her burning cheek. Not from pain. From shock. From the realization that she'd lost his ring. The symbol. The promise. In the corner, Dante Valentino stopped breathing. Rico had worked for Dante for 15 years. 15 years of violence, of bodies, of blood. He'd never been scared. Until now. Boss, Rico's voice shook. Boss, don't. But Dante was already standing. The temperature in the room dropped. Not metaphorically. People's breath misted. The lights seemed to dim. The 4 billionaires turned. And saw death walking toward them in a tailored suit. 6'3", shoulders that blocked out light. Face carved from marble. But the eyes, oh God, the eyes, they were empty. Void. The kind of emptiness that swallows worlds. Gentlemen. One word. Silk over razors. Trevor tried to laugh. Listen, friend. This doesn't. Friend. The word exploded out of Dante. Trevor stumbled backward, crashing into a chair. But Dante ignored them. All of them. He walked straight to Naomi. His hands shook as he bent down, retrieved the ring. This man, who'd killed 17 people with those same hands, was trembling as he reached for his wife. "Dante, I'm sorry," Naomi whispered. "Never." He took her hand, slid the ring back on, kissed her knuckles once. "Never apologize. Not for them. Not for anyone." He turned her face gently, examined the red mark blooming across her dark skin. His thumb brushed it, so gentle, so careful. Then he looked at the 4 billionaires, and his face went dead. "I'm Dante Valentino." He paused. "Let it sink in. And the woman you just struck, the woman whose wages you stole, the woman you tried to humiliate?" Another pause. "This one eternal. She's my wife." Marcus Wellesley's legs gave out. He collapsed into his chair. Jonathan made a sound, half sob, half scream. Trevor started shaking. Visible tremors. Dean, the one who'd slapped her, went gray. Literally gray. Like someone had drained his blood. Dante Valentino. The ghost of New York. The man senators begged for favors. The name that made cartel bosses nervous. 18 billion in legitimate business. But everyone knew the real empire was built in shadows. "We didn't know," Marcus gasped. "You didn't know she was mine?" Dante's smile had no warmth, only promise. "So if she'd been alone, truly alone, what you did would have been acceptable." No answer. "That's your problem." Dante moved closer. Each step made them retreat. "You only respect power above you. Everyone else? Insects. But insects have kings. And you just stepped on my queen." "It was a mistake." Dean tried, voice cracking. "A mistake." Dante laughed. No humor, just darkness. "You struck my wife, stole her wages, humiliated her, and you call it a mistake." He snapped his fingers. Rico appeared, phone out, recording. "Here's what happens now," Dante said. "Rico's documenting everything. The assault, the wage theft, the slurs. By sunrise, every news outlet has this story." "You can't," Trevor started. "I can." Dante's voice dropped to a whisper, somehow worse than yelling. "But that's just the appetizer." He sat in Dean's chair, poured their $1,000 bourbon, took a sip. "Marcus, your IPO next month? Dead. I'll make one call. Your institutional investors will pull out by Monday." Marcus made a choking sound. "Trevor, those city contracts? Gone. The mayor owes me 8 favors. I'm calling them all. Jonathan, your hedge fund's biggest clients." Dante swirled the bourbon. 800 million withdrawn by Friday. I'll personally guarantee it." Jonathan whimpered. Actually whimpered. "And Dean." Dante stood, walked toward the man who'd struck Naomi. "Your family name opens doors? I own those buildings. Every lease your family holds. I'm the silent partner your daddy's been paying for 20 years. Dean's face crumbled. That's impossible." "Call him." Dante pulled out his phone, dialed, put it on speaker. A man answered, older, gruff. "Valentino, it's late. Mr. Ashford, your son just struck my wife." Silence on the other end. Then, oh God, and oh. "You know what that means," Dante said. It wasn't a question. "Please." The elder Ashford's voice broke. "Please, Valentino. He's my son. He's a coward who hits women. I'll pay anything." "Your son doesn't have a money problem," Dante said. "He has a character problem, and I'm about to solve it." He hung up. Dean was sobbing now. Full breakdown. "My father. You just destroyed." "I destroyed nothing," Dante corrected. "You did. The moment your hand touched her face." He turned to all 4 of them. "Here's your options. Option 1. I end you. Completely. Financially. Socially. Physically. You disappear. No one asks questions." They went pale. "Option 2. Naomi's voice cut through. Strong. Clear. Everyone turned. She was standing tall. Shoulders back. The bruise on her face visible. But her eyes? Fire. "Option 2 is you listen," Naomi said. and you choose to be better. Naomi, Dante started. She put her hand on his chest. I know what you want to do. I feel it. But that's not who we are. They hit you, and you could kill them. I know. She looked at the 4 billionaires. But death is easy. Change is hard. Which punishment do you think will actually matter? Dante stared at his wife. This woman. This incredible woman who could choose mercy when he wanted blood. Tell them, Naomi said to Dante. Tell them option 2. Dante took a breath. Then another. Fighting every instinct. Option 2, he finally said. You pay triple what you owe her. Every service worker in this club gets their back wages. Tonight. With interest. The 4 men nodded frantically. That's not all, Naomi added. You fund a workers' advocacy program. $2 million. Each. 8 million total? Marcus gasped. Is your reputation worth less? Naomi shot back. Silence. And one more thing, Naomi continued. You apologize. Publicly. A video statement admitting what you did. And oh lawyers. And oh spin. Just truth. That will destroy us. Jonathan started. Dante moved so fast no one saw it. 1 second standing by Naomi. The next, his hand was around Jonathan's throat, lifting him off the ground. You want to talk about destruction? Dante's voice was a growl. I'll show you destruction. I'll make you watch as everything you love burns. Your money, your family, your legacy. I'll erase you so completely, history won't even have a footnote. Jonathan's face turned purple. Dante, Naomi's voice, soft, steady. He didn't let go. Dante, please. Slowly, painfully slowly, he lowered Jonathan, released his throat. Jonathan collapsed, gasping. Dante turned back to the others. My wife is giving you mercy, he said. I would give you a grave. Understand the gift she's offering. We understand, Marcus whispered. We'll do it. All of it. Good. Dante pulled out his phone. My lawyer's coming. You sign the papers tonight. 8 million transferred. Statements recorded. And if you ever disrespect another worker, another employee, another human being you think is beneath you, he leaned close, so close they could count his eyelashes. You'll answer to me, and I won't be in a merciful mood. But then something happened and no one expected. Naomi walked to the bar, called over the head server, Carmen, 15 years on the job, never promoted. Carmen, gather all the service staff, everyone working tonight. These gentlemen have something to say. 23 people stood in the VIP room 10 minutes later, confused, scared, wondering if mass layoffs were coming. The 4 billionaires stood in a line, heads down. These men have apologies to make, Naomi announced. And I want all of you to hear them. One by one, they apologized. Marcus went first, looked at Carmen. I've walked past you 1,000 times. Never learned your name. Never saw you as human. I'm sorry. Trevor broke down talking to a young server named Jasmine. You've served me for 2 years. I've never tipped you once. I'm so sorry. Jonathan apologized to the bartender, the busboy, the valet, sobbing through each one. But when Dean's turn came, the man who'd slapped Naomi, something shifted. He stood in front of Luis, the 19-year-old busboy working 3 jobs to support his family in Ecuador. I don't deserve your forgiveness, Dean said, voice shaking. I've treated you like you're invisible, like your life doesn't matter. And he collapsed. Full breakdown, hands over his face, sobbing. I'm a monster, Dean choked out. I'm everything wrong with this world. I have everything and I've learned nothing. I don't know how to be better. I don't know how to fix this. The room was silent. Then Luis, 19 years old, sending money home, working 70-hour weeks, did something impossible. He put his hand on Dean's shoulder. You start by choosing, Luis said quietly. Every day, every moment, you choose to be better. Dean looked up, tears streaming. How? How do I even start? The same way everyone starts, Luis said. One person at a time. One choice at a time. And right there, in that moment, something cracked open in Dean Ashford. 28 years of entitlement, of cruelty, of never facing consequences. Shattered. Naomi watched it happen. Watched this man, this broken man, realize what he'd become. And she felt something unexpected. Hope. You have a choice now, she said to all 4 billionaires. You can go back to who you were, or you can become who you should have been. How? Trevor asked, genuine desperation in his voice. How do we even know what that looks like? Naomi looked at Dante. He nodded, knowing what she was about to offer. I'll help you, Naomi said. Everyone stared. You'll what? Marcus couldn't believe it. I'll help you. Every Monday for the next year you volunteer. Homeless shelters, food banks, addiction centers, places where you look people in the eye and see struggle. We have jobs, Jonathan started. Make time. Dante cut him off. Sharp, final. You made time to humiliate my wife. You'll make time for this. Every Friday, you meet with me, Naomi continued. We talk about what you learned, what you felt, what changed. And if we refuse? Trevor asked. Dante smiled. No warmth, just teeth. Then we go back to option 1, the one where you disappear. The message was clear. This wasn't a request. But here's the thing, Naomi added. I don't think you'll refuse, because I saw something in Dean's eyes just now. Something real, something human. And I hope that humanity exists in all of you. Buried, forgotten, but not dead. She walked to Dean, held out her hand. Do we have a deal? Dean stared at her hand, the hand of the woman he'd struck, the hand offering him redemption he didn't deserve. He took it. We have a deal. One by one, the others shook her hand, promising, committing. 3 months later, Marcus Wellesley sat in a homeless shelter serving meals. Across from him, a man named Thomas, 56 years old, former software engineer at Marcus's company. I remember you, Thomas said. 2019. Mass layoffs. You gave a speech about market forces and difficult decisions. Then you bought a $90 million yacht that same month. Marcus's hands shook. I remember all of it. I lost my house. My wife left. My daughter won't speak to me. Thomas's voice held no anger, just fact. All because you wanted a bigger YSHT. I'm sorry, Marcus whispered. God, I'm so sorry. Why now? Thomas asked. Why do you care now? Because someone showed me what I'd become, Marcus said, and I couldn't live with it anymore. He pulled out his phone, showed Thomas a bank transfer, $500,000. I can't give you back what you lost, but I can help you start again. Trevor Hastings stood at a food bank, staring at a woman with 2 children. She was filling a bag with donated canned goods. The kids, maybe 6 and 8, looked hungry. How long have you been coming here? Trevor asked. 2 years, the woman said. Since my husband died. I work 2 jobs. Still can't make rent. Trevor thought of the properties his family owned. 50,000 rental units across Manhattan. How many families were they crushing? What do you do? He asked. I'm a nurse. Night shift at Presbyterian. A nurse, saving lives. And she couldn't afford to feed her kids. Trevor pulled out his phone, made a call. Dad, I need you to restructure our rental contracts. Cap rent increases at inflation. Forgive late fees for healthcare workers. Have you lost your mind? His father yelled through the phone. No, Trevor said, watching the woman with her children. I finally found it. He hung up, chose his conscience over his inheritance. Jonathan Price sat across from a 16-year-old named Davion. Genius-level IQ, perfect SAT scores, no money for college. I could get into MIT, Davion said. Princeton, Stanford, but my mom's a single parent. We can barely afford food. Jonathan thought of his own education, bought and paid for before he was born. Legacy admission to Harvard, never earned, just given. What do you want to study? Jonathan asked. Astrophysics. I want to understand how the universe works. Jonathan saw something in this kid's eyes. Something he'd lost decades ago. Hunger. Not for money. For knowledge. You're going to MIT, Jonathan said. I can't afford. Full scholarship. Room. Board. Stipend. All of it. Jonathan was already texting his foundation. And when you graduate, you're not going to become like me. You're going to be better. Davion stared, tears forming. Why? Why would you do this? Because someone gave me a second chance. And I'm done wasting it. Dean Ashford sat in a support group for domestic violence survivors. Listening, learning, hurting. A woman named Patricia spoke. He only hit me once, but that once was enough. I saw what he really thought of me. Dean's hand went to his face, remembering the slap, the sound, Naomi's expression. I'm sorry, he said when it was his turn to speak. I'm not a survivor. I'm the abuser. The room went silent. 6 months ago, I struck a woman, someone who'd done nothing wrong, someone who was just asking for what she'd earned. His voice broke, and I've spent every day since trying to understand how I became that monster. Patricia looked at him. Why are you here? Because I never want to be that man again. Because I need to understand the damage I cause. Because, he stopped, breathed. Because I need to be accountable. An older woman, Sarah, survivor of 20 years of abuse, spoke up. The fact that you're here matters. Most abusers never admit it. Never seek help. Does that make it okay? Dean asked. No, Sarah said firmly. But it makes change possible. Every Friday, the 4 billionaires met with Naomi at a coffee shop. Not a boardroom, not a restaurant. A regular coffee shop where regular people went. I saw my father yesterday, Dean said during one session. Told him I was ashamed of our family legacy. That everything we built was on the backs of people we exploited. What did he say? Naomi asked. He disowned me. Dean laughed, but there were tears. Said I'd lost my mind. That I was throwing away my future. I'm sorry, Naomi said gently. Don't be. Dean met her eyes. It's the first honest thing I've done in my life. I'd rather have integrity than inheritance. Marcus leaned forward. My wife left me, said I'd become a different person, that she didn't recognize me. He smiled through tears. I told her she was right. The man she married was a monster, and I'm done being that man. Trevor nodded. I lost 6 major contracts because I refused to exploit workers. My company's stock dropped 30%. Regrets? Naomi asked. None, Trevor said. I sleep at night now. That's worth more than billions. 6 months after that night at the Grandeur Club, Naomi stood on a stage. Behind her, a banner reading Richardson Workers Advocacy Center, funded by $8 million from 4 former billionaires, run by people who'd lived through wage theft and abuse. The room was packed. Service workers, immigrants, single parents, people who'd been invisible finally being seen. The 4 billionaires stood in the back. Not on stage, not in the spotlight, just watching. Naomi gave her speech about dignity, about worth, about how everyone deserves basic human decency regardless of their job. And as she spoke, Dante stood beside the stage, his arm ready to steady her if needed, his eyes never leaving her face. Proud, utterly, completely proud. After the speech, a reporter approached the 4 billionaires. Why are you here? She asked. This isn't exactly your usual scene, Marcus answered. Because 6 months ago we were monsters, and one woman showed us we could be human instead. We're here to make sure we never forget that. But not everyone was happy with the transformation. 2 weeks later, Marcus received a call. Unknown number. Mr. Wellesley, you've been making some interesting choices lately. Who is this? Let's just say I represent certain interests, the kind that don't appreciate billionaires developing consciences. It's bad for business. Marcus's blood ran cold. What do you want? Stop the bleeding heart act. Return to normal, or there will be consequences. Marcus hung up, called Dante immediately. They're threatening me, Marcus said. Said my conscience is bad for business. Who? I don't know, but they sounded serious. There was silence on the other end. Then, forward me the number. I'll handle it. Dante, I don't want you to. You're under MY protection now, Dante said. Final. All of you, and anyone who threatens you threatens me. 3 days later, a man in a black suit appeared at Marcus's office. Not Dante, someone else. Someone who made Marcus's security team nervous. Mr. Valentino sends his regards, the man said. The parties who contacted you have been informed that you're off limits. Permanently. What does that mean? Marcus asked. The man smiled. No warmth. It means they've chosen to pursue other interests. Healthier interests. For their longevity. He left without another word. Marcus called Trevor. Then Jonathan. Then Dean. They'd all received similar visits. We're in the Mafia now, Jonathan joked nervously. No, Dean corrected. We're under the protection of a man who values integrity. That's different. But Marcus understood something the others didn't. Something that made him smile despite the fear. They'd become worth protecting. Not because of their money, but because of their choices. 1 year after the incident, Naomi got a call from Carmen. Mrs. Valentino, you need to see this. What happened? They bought it. The 4 men. They bought the Grandeur Club. Naomi's heart stopped. What? They bought it and turned it into a cooperative. Every employee owns shares now. Profit sharing. Health insurance. Paid family leave. They restructured everything. Tears sprang to Naomi's eyes. And that's not all, Carmen continued, voice shaking with emotion. They're doing it with all their businesses. Marcus restructured his tech company, employee ownership. Trevor changed his real estate empire, rent caps, tenant protections. Jonathan converted his hedge fund to ethical investing. Dean forced his family's corporation to adopt fair labor practices. Naomi couldn't speak, couldn't breathe. They're not just different, Carmen said. They're revolutionizing entire industries. And they're doing it because of you. That night, Naomi stood on her penthouse balcony, crying. Dante found her there, pulled her close. What's wrong? Nothing's wrong. She looked up at him, tears of joy streaming. Everything's right. For the first time in my life, everything's actually right. She told him about Carmen's call, about the cooperatives, about the transformations. Dante was quiet for a long time. You did that, he finally said. You took 4 men who should have been destroyed and gave them redemption. We did that, Naomi corrected. You gave them fear. I gave them hope. They needed both. I wanted to kill them, Dante admitted. When Dean slapped you, I saw red. Pure rage. Rico thought I was going to shoot him right there. I know. I saw your face. She touched his cheek. But you waited. You let me choose the path. That's why I married you. I married you because you make me want to be better than what I am. There's something I need to tell you, Naomi said quietly. Dante tensed. What? I'm pregnant. The world stopped. Dante stared at her. You're what? 3 months. I found out last week. I wanted to wait until tonight to tell you. His hands went to her stomach. Gentle, reverent. This man, who'd ended lives without hesitation, was trembling at the thought of creating one. A baby, he whispered. We're having a baby. Are you ready to be a father? Naomi asked. Dante thought of the 4 billionaires, of their transformations, of how Naomi had shown them grace when they deserved destruction. I don't know how to be a good father, he admitted. My father taught me violence, power, fear. Then teach our child the opposite, Naomi said. Teach them that real power is choosing mercy, that real strength is lifting people up, that real wealth is what you give, not what you take. Dante pulled her close. You make me believe I can be better than my bloodline. You are better. You've always been better. You just needed someone to show you. They stood there, looking out over New York. 8 million stories, 8 million struggles. And somewhere in that vast machine, for former monsters were learning that redemption wasn't a destination. It was a daily choice. What do we name them? Dante asked. Naomi smiled. If it's a girl, Grace, because that's what changed everything. And if it's a boy, Justice, because everyone deserves it. 3 months later, Naomi gave birth to twins, a boy and a girl, Grace and Justice Valentino. The 4 billionaires were at the hospital, waiting, nervous, because Naomi and Dante had asked them to be godparents. Why US? Marcus had asked when they'd been asked. We're the ones who hurt you. Exactly, Naomi had said. You know what it's like to be lost, which means you can teach them how to be found. Now, holding Grace while Dante held Justice, Naomi looked at the 4 men who'd once been her tormentors. Promise me something, she said. Anything, they said in unison. Promise me you'll teach them that people matter more than profit, that dignity matters more than status, that choosing to be kind, even when you could choose to be cruel, is the only power that actually matters. Dean stepped forward, tears streaming. We promise. On our lives, we promise. 5 years later, Grace and Justice Valentino played in a park. Their 4 godparents watched over them while Naomi and Dante sat on a bench nearby. You know what's wild? Dante said. What? Those 4 men, the ones I wanted to kill. They're some of the best people I know now. Naomi leaned into him. People can change, if they want it badly enough. You believe that? Even after everything. I know that. I married a Mafia king who became the best father I could have imagined. If you can change, anyone can. Grace ran over. Daddy, Uncle Marcus is teaching me about fair wages. Justice followed. And Uncle Trevor said exploitation is a bad word. Dante laughed. Did he now? He also said you'd RIP out someone's spine if they exploited workers. Justice added cheerfully. Naomi shot Dante a look. Maybe less talk about spine ripping, Naomi suggested. But it's true, Justice insisted. Doesn't mean we talk about it at the park, Dante said, ruffling his son's hair. As the twins ran back to their godparents, Dante pulled Naomi close. You saved me, he whispered. You saved them. You saved everyone you touch. We saved each other, Naomi corrected. You gave me protection. I gave you purpose. That's what love is. The diamond ring on her finger caught the sunlight. The same ring that had flown off her finger 5 years ago. The same ring that had started everything. You know what I think about sometimes? Naomi asked. What? What would have happened if you hadn't been there that night? If I'd been truly alone? Dante's jaw clenched. Don't. But I was alone, Naomi continued. For years before I met you, and I survived. Because survival isn't about who's protecting you. It's about who you choose to be when no one's watching. She looked at the 4 billionaires, now playing with Grace and Justice, laughing, present. And sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is show monsters they can be human again. If this story gave you chills, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications for Mafia Romance Hub right now. Comment Justice if you think everyone got what they deserved, or comment Mercy if you think Naomi was too forgiving. And if you know someone who's ever been treated like they're invisible, someone who needs to hear that they matter, share this video with them. Because the most powerful thing we can do is remind people they're seen. Next story drops in 48 hours, and trust me, you will not want to miss it. See you there.